Enjoy reading the story on Manga Funny channel.
In the previous episode, Catherine and Eric took a walk in the flower garden. Let's continue the story from here. In Catherine's memories, the scene before my eyes, it's still dazzling. Is this really the same person? He saw that she looked better and said, "You look better." She replied, "Yeah, I'm much better now." He said, "When I heard that you had fallen ill, I got really worried." She thought, "Why is Eric worried about me?" He said, "I couldn't sleep at night." She couldn't understand why. He couldn't sleep. He said, "But it looks like you're healthy enough to step out of the house. I'm so relieved." I'm not used to seeing His Highness Eric smile. My heart is beating so loudly. Seeing her blushing, Eric said, "You're blushing. Maybe you still have a fever." He bent down, lifted her chin, and brought his face closer, causing her to blush and her heart to race. "That's not true. No way." Embarrassed, she quickly hid behind a wall and reassured herself, "I'm perfectly all right." She thought, what kind of woman can stay calm when faced with such a dazzlingly handsome man up close? I can't stay calm. Someone help." Eric thought, she's gone mad. She imagined Mr. Silas standing in front of her. "I'm pretty sure that's Silas. I need your help." "No, Catherine. If you're going to look at someone, just look at me. I've seen you more than my own family. Don't stare at anyone but me. Do as His Highness Eric says." The power of hearing it in person rather than through a screen is truly incredible. His Highness Eric is exactly what you would expect from a maiden's game. A very doting and possessive prince. What happened to the stubborn Eric? Are you sure you're okay? She thought that the Eric in the game and the one in real life seemed the same, but they appeared quite different. I'm sure the old Catherine would have been thrilled to be in this situation. She would have been jumping for joy. After acting like a fool, she was still surprised when Eric handed her flowers. "This is, Catherine. Here are today's flowers. Please take them." Is this today's gift? I wonder if he brought them every day. The flowers in her room were fresh. She recalled, could Eric have been bringing flowers to her every day? I've broken off engagements in every reincarnated life I've ever known. I thought he was no different in personality and demeanor than my previous fiancés. But the only person who ever cared about me was His Highness Eric. Thank you very much. At that moment, Silas called Eric, saying he had something to discuss. Eric said, "I'll be right there." After speaking, Eric took her hand, kissed it, which made her flustered, and even Silas was surprised by this. Then Eric turned and said, "I got to see your face and give you flowers. I'll be going home now. Go back to your room and get some rest." Silas stood there, stunned, unsure if that was really Eric. Eric said, "What are you doing, Silas? Let's go." After receiving the flowers, she was still surprised, and she thought, that's weird. What's going on? During dinner with her family, when the servant poured wine, she said, "Thank you." This shocked the servant and the family, causing the servant to spill the wine. She had never thanked the servants before. The frightened servant knelt on the ground trembling, saying, "My apologies. Miss, please have mercy on me. Please let me live." At that moment, she bent down in front of the servant and said, "Why are you overreacting? The cloth is all that's left of the table. Don't worry about it." The servant, still confused, stammered, "Lady Catherine." Her brother thought that if this were the old Catherine, she would have fired the servant immediately. He said, "Catherine, are you out of your mind? Normally, you would fire him without question." She replied, "You're out of your mind is just an insult, Gerald." Her brother, irritated, said, "I don't know what you're talking about." She replied, "You know, my brother and I." She thought, "I remember the last time I was with my brother. Aren't you actually dumber than me, Gerald?" At that moment, her father asked her, "I heard you were feeling better, but you still don't look in good shape. Are you okay?" Her mother said, "You haven't finished your food. I've prepared your favorite." Certainly steak is my favorite. In the past she loved steak. I said I want more. Give me more. There wasn't enough steak. Don't be selfish, Catherine. There's a limit to how much food you can eat. When I got fussy, my brother used to scold me. That's how it used to be. Hey, you guys, we're eating. Usually during meals it would be loud with the siblings fighting over food, but today it's so quiet at the table. Her father spoke to her. If something's wrong, you can talk to me about it. We are a family, right? I'm glad you think of me as family, but to think I'd been reincarnated as a villainess over and over again. No one would believe that nonsense. She said, "There's nothing to tell you." He replied, "No, you're lying. When you lie, your right eyebrow goes up." She replied, "Really, it's nothing. You wouldn't believe me even if I told you. You don't know that unless you tell me." "No way. Do you have some kind of disease?" "Absolutely not. The aura of let's talk." "Okay, I get it. I'm not really Catherine. I'm just living the life of a villainess. If I'm being honest, maybe I can escape the scenario of being executed." Actually, suddenly her chest tightened with pain. She didn't understand what was happening to her body. "I'm in pain. I can't breathe." Why? In the previous episode, we reached the part where her chest tightened with pain. She didn't understand what was happening to her body. "I'm in pain. I can't breathe." Let's continue the story from here. Her chest throbbed with pain, and she didn't understand what was happening to her body. That's right. Even back then, it was like this. If I try to tell anyone about me being reincarnated, it feels as if my heart is being squeezed tightly. I can't even say anything about it anymore. They're forcing me to follow the Otome game's storyline. She thought that maybe she would have to reincarnate. After all, I'm just stuck in a story, aren't I? At this moment, her brother called out loudly, "Catherine?" She said, "I'm sorry, Gerald. I'll tell you everything once I've finished eating the steak." "You don't want yours, do you? Then I'll eat it too." He replied, "Don't just take it without my permission." "I've prepared your uniform for next year's classes in your room. You can go ahead and try it out later." So it's going to be a school story now. After the meal, she returned to her room and sat on her bed with a sigh of relief. "I'm finally free from Gerald." A few minutes ago he had complained, and she didn't even finish her food. Catherine wasn't even done speaking to me yet. "Forgive me, Gerald. There's a reason why I can't tell you. This world is a game, and I'm just following the story as Catherine, the game's character. I'm probably getting in the way of the story's progression. Soon enough, I'm sure the heroine will show up too. Then, I'll be executed because my fiancé decided to change his mind." She walked over to where her uniform was placed, checking if it fit her body. "It's really a hassle, isn't it? Now that it's come to this, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm not going to be the villainess anymore." Now that it's decided, a servant asked her, "You don't need any new dresses?" "Is that really true, Lady Catherine?" She replied, "Yes, I'm serious. What I have is more than enough. I've decided to give up the life of luxury." The maid said, "Oh, Lady Catherine." She replied, "Yes, what's wrong?" The maid said, "Is this the correct letter that you'd like to give to His Highness Eric?" She replied, "Yes, it is. Is there a problem?" The maid said, "No, that's not what I meant. It's just that you're always giving me letters that are as thick as your personal diary. So I thought I was seeing things wrong. It always looks like this," she said. "I've just learned how to convey my message in a few simple sentences. I can't stay childish forever, you know? I'm trying to be more mature." The maid said, "Oh, my Lady Catherine." The maid did her hair as usual. "I don't want to make a fuss over every little thing. Can't you make my hair prettier?" No complaints this time. It's time to stop being a nuisance to everyone. She remembered, that's not the teacup I wanted to use. I survived the ladies' teacup challenge today. I'll be a quiet and modest adult who can swiftly disappear like a ninja. Did something just pass by? Hey, don't say such scary stuff. I'm good at quietly blending into the surroundings. Somehow, I'm completely free. I'm bored with nothing to do. There's nothing left for me to do as long as I just remain careful. Maybe I should gather the servants and play some card games? Is that too much of a change in character? Maybe I shouldn't. My only wish is to live peacefully. I'm sure I'll die soon anyway once I actually become an adult. But that's okay. I'm sick and tired of being in despair. My first despair was when I was reborn as the villainous Katie Belle-Isle. You're less of a duchess than I am, and yet you're so cocky. One word from my father and I could have destroyed your household. Lady Katie, do you wish to be destroyed by me? Lady Katie. Katie had a squire whom she was particularly fond of. Perhaps you should be more gentle with your words, my lady. He took care of her energetic and troublesome self with ease and was always there to help when needed. So naturally, Lady Katie ended up liking him. Katie, I've brought your fiancé. I'm Joseph. Let's get along well from now on. Nice to meet you. As the daughter of a duke, there was no other option but this one. It's nice to meet you too. Even if he's not the one I liked, I'm sure I'll find happiness with him somehow. Surely that would happen. At least, that's what I believed. Duchess of Cambridge, Katie Belle-Isle, I'm officially breaking off my engagement with you. Katie Belle-Isle. Character profile. Duchess of Cambridge, the villainous and main antagonist of this fictional game. She got in the way of the main character's love story. Katie. The name, the plot, setting, everything's the same. That's the name of the character in the game I played before dying. It can't be, this world is inside a game? Huh. Wait, does that mean that trembling person over there is the heroine? So I was dumped by my fiancé. Breaking off the villainess's engagement was the final route in the game. No way. Does that mean I'll die? Even though I wanted to live happily, I should have lived more happily. Why did I only just remember this now? If I knew about all this from the very start, then I would have never done any of that. But this is all because I'm in an evil game. If I just broke off that engagement first, then maybe I could have survived this. Katie, you've been sentenced to live in the monastery from now on. Ah, I lost. Miss Heroine was so strong-willed. No matter how much money or threats you throw at me, I will still stay by Lord Joseph's side. If I was just a player of the game, that scene would have been so good. If it didn't matter how hard I tried, then I should have just stuck with my love. It's too late for that now, isn't it? Because this carriage will never make it to the monastery. That is the story of my first reincarnation. I'm remembering something I don't like. I'm so depressed because I'm sitting here all bored. Since it's like this. What, you want to learn how to dance? Yes, I do, Father. I really want to dance right now. Didn't you say that you didn't want to dance anymore because your teacher was too strict with the dance instructions? She remembered. It's your fault that I hate dancing. You're fired. I forgot about that. Still, I really don't want to keep wasting my time doing nothing and thinking of bad memories. Oh, please, Father. Could you please bring the teacher back? I guess I have no choice. Her teacher said, Lady Catherine, you have an amazing form, even though it's only been a few days of teaching. Not to be rude, but are you really the same person, my lady? She said, it's all thanks to your wonderful teaching. She thought, but obviously I can't tell her that. To be honest, it's just the memories of my past life that helped. Her teacher said, we must show off Lady Catherine's amazing dancing skills at the next party. All your dance partners will surely be captivated by you. That will be quite hard, I fear. After all, Lady Catherine, I'm your one and only dance partner. Prince Eric? Isn't that right?